I took my first drink at a party at the young age of 14. And on that very night, my codependent love-hate relationship with alcohol began. I've had an on-again, off-again love affair with it ever since. Popular culture glamorizes it, yet it often destroys lives. It has the ability to deceive people with its charm and promise of a good time, yet frequently leaves a trail of destruction. You'll usually find it at every holiday, celebration, festival, vacation, and just about every life event. It took me so damn long to figure out if I should love alcohol or hate it. For years, I drank to drown out my social anxiety and insecurities, and was probably what you would just call a social drinker. But drinking slowly started consuming more and more time in my life than it deserved. Yet I could never seem to let it go. Because if I stopped, how would I emotionally connect with anyone? How would I even go to social events? Who would I be? The only Katie people knew was Katie who had alcohol running through her veins. It became my dopamine rush, my escape, and my source of courage for as long as I can remember. When my family and I moved to the Indy area, I thought to myself, a new area, a fresh start, a place to create new memories. Unfortunately, I brought my baggage and booze with us. I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband was frequently traveling for work, often for months at a time. My kids were in school. So there was plenty of opportunity for my lover, aka wine, and I to spend more time together. I was no longer a social drinker. I had definitely crossed the line into that whole gray area of drinking. I needed to admit to myself and everyone around me that I am not in control of alcohol. That first drink typically would always lead to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. In fact, I can't remember many times when I could ever just have a drink. For years, I knew deep down that I had a serious drinking problem, but I kept trying to convince myself that I wasn't as bad as those people, you know, the true alcoholics. Well, I could call it what I wanted to, but the reality was right in front of me. So I needed to come to grips with all the signs that were becoming more and more obvious. In fact, I sat down one day and I wrote out a list of things that could, just possibly, maybe, give me an indication that my love affair had gone from romance to destruction. And here's just an abbreviated list of what I came up with. I might be a booze queen, wino, lush, or even the A word if I make it a point to buy alcohol at different grocery stores, gas stations, and wineries so I don't become a regular and risk being judged. I'm hiding drinks so my kids don't see me drinking. I literally can't go to any social event without drinking. I find myself feeling proud if I go one night without drinking, or that I definitely can control it if I can go 2. I find myself compulsively thinking about when and what I'll be drinking. I miss my son's baseball game because I overindulged the night before. I constantly worry about my health and even dying, but I still don't quit. I often make plans to just drink on certain days, or only at social events, or only so many drinks, but it never seems to work. I watch Intervention to convince myself that I'm not that bad. I watch Intervention and can completely relate. I find myself feeling angry when I see alcohol being sold literally everywhere. The zoo, Skateland, the movie theater, youth lacrosse games, 5K races, mommy and me goat yoga at the local winery. But then I find myself getting anxious and disappointed when I go somewhere where it's not sold. I sometimes worry that I forgot to get rid of empty wine bottles placed in random places around my house. My daughter smells the liquid in a cup before she takes a drink. I drink because I feel overwhelmed, lonely, bored, unmotivated, controlled, guilty, ashamed, to calm my anxiety, to have connection. Because it's nice outside, because it's shitty outside. To be quiet, to be loud, to forget about how I feel, to forget about how I look. To be liked, to not care if I'm liked. To celebrate, to mourn, because wine tastes so good, because wine is good for you. To face the world, to hide from the world, to hide from myself. I got to a point where I may have had so many reasons that I wanted to continue to drink, but I had way more important ones for needing to stop. I successfully completed an intensive outpatient recovery program and gave up alcohol for 6 months from September 2019 to March 2020. Then COVID hit and all hell broke loose. I started drinking again pretty much nightly, which soon became drinking late afternoon and well into the evening. Mornings became a painful fog of regret, and the cycle of insanity started repeating itself all over again. My recovery journey has been full of ups and downs, but one thing that I've learned in recovery is that to stay sober, accountability is everything. And I stand here tonight on this stage in front of you and in front of the world to say that I have been alcohol-free for 182 days. Thank you. People often ask me what it was that happened when I finally decided to give up alcohol. My reply, which time? Sobriety doesn't know finality. Sobriety only knows two things: recovery and relapse. And every single day, I make the decision to work on my recovery. Because my worst day sober is still a million times better than a great night of drinking, which is never great anyways, the morning after. In fact, there are so many things that are better now that I'm not drinking. Things like waking up at 5 a.m. to run or make it to a 5:30 a.m. class at the gym. Yes, I'm that kind of crazy now. Remembering everything. Conversations from the night before, where I put things, Facebook posts I made, what I purchased on Amazon. I know my husband probably appreciates that one too. Feeling healthy, strong, and ready to face the day every morning I wake up without an overwhelming feeling of anxiety or alcohol-induced panic attacks. Showing up and being fully present. Owning my authenticity and feeling like I'm worthy. Being there for my 3 beautiful, amazing kids. Who deserve to have a sober mom every single day. Being a badass and having the energy, drive, and passion to do this show. A few months ago, I attended a social event that I go to every year, and I survived the night with 0 alcohol. When I got home, my 15-year-old son ran downstairs and said to me, "Before I have a conversation with you, how much did you drink tonight?" And it made me so happy to be able to honestly tell him, none. And as I started to try to convince him, because he'd heard that before, As I started to try to convince him that I was telling the truth, he stopped me and said, "Mom, I know you didn't. I can hear it in your voice." But even as I was heading out to this event, I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll have just one glass of wine, which then turned into, well, even 2 glasses would probably be fine. Typical thoughts for someone in recovery. But then I threw my mocktails in my purse and left. Typically, at an event like this, I would have shown up tipsy, headed to the bar right when I got there, and probably would have continued to drink several glasses of wine. It's also likely that I would have had more wine when I got home, passed out with my makeup still on and maybe even my dress, and woke up feeling like crap. Instead, I said no to alcohol and was actually present in every single moment. I woke up feeling amazing, and the best thing is that I remember every detail and conversation of the evening, but I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like a super awkward human being sitting there in my own skin, completely sober. I've worked on that quite a bit, gotten a little better at it, but it's still a work in progress. I wish that I could say that there's an ending to my story, but recovery has no ending. It's a never-ending journey. I took the elevator down, and now I'm taking the stairs back up. Thanks. And I know that I am not alone. I have the support of my family, so many amazing friends, and these 9 phenomenal women on this stage.